Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Annika, one of the Greencross WebVet veterinarians. And today I'm really excited to be joined by Dr. Ben from Royal Canin, and we're going to be talking about our See the Change challenge, our 12-week challenge that we've been running. And we're also going to be talking about weight management for your pets, which is super important. If you're not yet familiar with our See the Change challenge, this is basically a 12-week challenge for those pets who need to trim down a little bit, or for those older dogs and cats that need a bit more zing in their life, and also those cats that set off their pet parents' allergies. Now, during today's live, we'll also be giving away $500 worth of Royal Canin pet food, and all you have to do to enter is just tell us in the comments how your pet would benefit from lightweight care. At the end, we'll also be answering some of your questions, so just make sure to leave us lots of questions in the comments, and at the end we'll provide as many answers as we can. Now, it's no secret that pet wellness starts with the food that we feed them. And I'm super excited to be joined by Dr. Ben from Royal Canin to tell us all about lightweight care and the benefits for your pet. Now, just give me one moment while I invite Dr. Ben to join me. Hi, Dr. Ben.
Good afternoon. How are we?
I'm really good. How are you?
Good, thank you. This is Missy. She's decided to join and be a co-host today.
Hello, beautiful. I'm sure you've got a lot of...
I love how the ears just pricked up.
How old's Missy?
She's coming on 7 years of age, so she's a bit of a lap dog. She likes any attention and all attention. So you'll see her on the couch most of the day next to where I'm working from. So yeah, she lives a hard life.
Perfect. Nice to have some friends join us too. Now, so today we're going to be talking about weight management, and we all know that the pet's age, size, could affect their lifestyle. So these days, people are working long days. Their pets might stay at home, not be as active. The weight can creep on. Also, we know that our D-sex pets, their metabolism might be a bit slower. They might not be using as much energy. So lots of reasons as to why the weight might creep on. So today we're going to be talking about how to get that weight off safely and efficiently, and what benefits there are for our pet's health. Now, Dr. Ben, I know that you have some statistics to share us about overweight pets in Australia. Tell me.
I do. So I'll just put Missy down because she's itching to get back into her bed. So Annika, I've got a question for you. So what percentage of dogs and cats in Australia do you think are overweight?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. There's quite a few. I feel like there's been a bit of a creep in lifestyle that we've seen coming through the clinics.
Yeah, so it might come as a bit of a surprise, but approximately 50% of dogs and cats in Australia are considered to be overweight. And so we know it can occur at any age, although we know middle-aged dogs and cats are overrepresented, but it can also occur in any breed as well. And again, we know that some breeds, think of our old friend, the Labrador, who loves their food, they're prone to being overweight as well. So when it comes to weight management, I think it's really important to remember that we need to manage the weight of your dog and cat because it's critically important to their quality of life. So just like us, avoiding excess weight helps to reduce a whole heap of different diseases which can occur secondary to that weight gain. So we're talking about things like arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, and there's about 15 or 16 other conditions which have been linked to pets being overweight or obese. And so what's more is that when we look at the latest research, it's actually been shown that in dogs that are overweight, that their life expectancy can actually be shortened by up to 2.5 years when compared to dogs that are of a similar age but are of a healthy weight.
That's massive. So if you think of a dog's, lifespan, so think in our, giant breeds, 10, 12 maybe, and some of our smaller breeds, maybe sort of 15, 16, take it 2 years, 2.5 years out of that. That's huge.
Exactly. So it's quite a scary statistic when you think about it. And it's the same in humans. If you were to speak to human doctors, we know that being overweight has a whole creates a whole plethora of potential issues, those being chronic issues typically, and it's exactly the same in our pets.
Yeah. So how do people tell if their pet is overweight?
Yeah, so I think before we jump into kind of, how do we tell if they're overweight, it's important to know some of the causes of them gaining weight to start with. So we know that just like in humans, essentially obesity in pets is a combination of too many calories, but also typically being a little bit inactive as well. So we as pet owners have a very strong bond with our pets. We can't deny that. And we do like to spoil our pets, whether that be in the form of some table scraps here and there or some treats. We're all guilty of giving treats. Many of us give them on a daily basis. But these all add extra calories to the diet. We also know that in some cases there are medical conditions which can cause a pet to be overweight or obese, such as Cushing's disease. You may have heard of that for people that have tuned in, but also thyroid issues as well. But the biggest driver here is we are what we eat. And so we have to take a look at food. So we know that over half of cat and dog owners always or often give food to their pet when they beg. We're all guilty of it. You can deny that you don't do it, but when you see those puppy dog eyes, I can tell you, we always give in. Exactly. Missy's just looking at me going, did you say food? We also know that a quarter of cat and dog owners sometimes overfeed their pet just to keep them happy. So we know, food can win over the heart of dogs and cats, particularly if you're a Labrador, as I mentioned. So quite often we do give them a little bit extra here and there just to keep them happy. And the other thing is that 87% of pet owners always or often give their pet roughly what they think is the correct amount of food. They don't actually follow the feeding guide, or if they follow the feeding guide, they may just take a scoop of a cup if it says a cup, but cup sizes vary, and even a small difference can add extra calories on a daily basis, which can basically result in them becoming overweight. So that's kind of some of the causes. But then the question that you asked is how can you tell if your pet's overweight? And it's a really good question because 40% of pet owners don't actually know what their dog or cat weighs, which is quite surprising. And when we actually ask pet owners about the weight of their pet, they typically underestimate what their pet actually is. So let's take a look at this further. What can you do at home to keep an eye on the weight and body condition of your pet? So there's basically a 3-step approach. You want to look, you want to feel, and you want to weigh. So firstly, you're going to look at their behavior. You're also going to look at their shape. So have they lost that nice hourglass shape around their waist? Are they more lethargic? Do they tire more easily than what they used to? There's some of the things that we're looking for. Next, you want to feel. So you're going to feel over the ribs. Can you feel them straight away when you touch that area? Or do you have to push in quite hard in order to feel the ribs? Or can you feel a large amount of fat over the top? And same with the waist as well. And then last but not least, you want to weigh. So you want to weigh them regularly because that's a good way to obviously monitor for weight gain. But also your vet can also tell you, based on their weight, but also by what we call the body condition score, as to whether they're in their ideal weight. And if they're not, they can actually put steps in place to help try and get them to their ideal weight. And if you want further information on basically seeing what you can do at home, then essentially we have heaps of resources on our website that you can go to and find out further information about what you can do at home to monitor.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you so much. I mean, that's certainly, regular vet visits where they record your pet weight is really, really important because then they can keep an eye on any trends that happen over time as
Exactly.
well. So that's good because you see your pet every single day, so you might not notice. And
that's why I think a lot of pet owners actually underestimate their weight, is that they go, oh, that's normal for my dog, or that's normal for my cat. Whereas, us as veterinary professionals, we'll see them walk in the consult room and go, you're on pretty good pastures over there. And the issue with that is, like I said, that there's lots of consequences of being overweight, particularly joint issues in your larger breeds in particular, but as we mentioned, diabetes, heart disease, etc.
Yeah, that's it. So now that we can hopefully tell whether our pet's a little bit overweight, what are some of the things that anyone can do to try to prevent their pet from becoming overweight in the first place?
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is something that we really have to take stock of, because we know that there is this trend towards overweight pets happening not only within Australia, but also globally. And so there's lots of things that you can do at home that are just simple little things, really, that can help to prevent your pet from becoming overweight in the first instance. So firstly, you need to monitor the calories going in. I can't tell you enough. So make sure you follow the portion size. So on your, I'm just going to grab a bag just to demonstrate, but when you buy food, there will be a feeding guide on there. It's there for a reason. And that's to provide you with a guide as to how much you should be feeding. So follow that. And if you've got any concerns, reach out to members at Pet Barn, essentially to find out more information as to the right amount, or you can reach out to your vet. Or Royal Canin if you're feeding a Royal Canin diet for further information. So that's one aspect. Next, you need kitchen scales. So don't just get a cup and scoop up that food if it says 1 cup. I want you to get a cup, put it on the scales and accurately weigh. Because even a small discrepancy, can result in extra calories, particularly if you're a small dog or you're a cat. So you need to bear that in mind. So next, we're going to talk about treats. So we all like to give treats. And it's one of those things that if you are going to do that, you've just got to make sure that treats don't make up any more than 10% of your pet's daily calorie requirement. And you should never feed table scraps. That's period. No ifs, buts, or maybes. So yeah, just keep an eye on the treats. Next is exercise, plenty of swimming, plenty of walking. Swimming's really good because it doesn't put any strain on the joints, particularly if you do have an older dog that has arthritis, for instance. And also think about other ways that you can reward your pet. So don't always think treats. Think about some extra love, an extra cuddle, some extra playtime, giving them a new toy, for instance. So kind of rethink about the way that you reward your pet for doing the right thing. So if your pet is a dog or a cat that is prone to weight gain, then you may want to consider feeding them a reduced calorie diet, such as lightweight care, which is the diet that I had before, and we're going to talk about it soon. This is the mini dog one. But if your dog is already significantly overweight or obese, then you really need to be speaking to your vet, because there's some other options that they can provide when it comes to weight management, particularly from a diet point of view. There's a therapeutic diet called Satiety, which will help to get your pet to their ideal body weight. But again, that should be fed under the guidance of a vet.
Yeah, thank you. There were a lot of really, really good tips there. Like personally, I've noticed some of those as well. Like, for example, I had family come over and they were very helpful in taking over feeding the cat. And I was like, oh, they're kind of giving the cat this amount. And over time, I noticed, I was like, hang on a minute, he's pretty heavy now. So I have to actually measure out the appropriate amount on the cup, mark it down and go, look, this has to be exact, you know?
Yeah. And the other thing too is you've got to be careful that all members in the household are on the same page. So particularly if you've got kids, they can be a little bit overzealous with, feeding their pet and giving a little bit extra. Food may fall off plates, for instance, at the dinner table. You may have neighbours that occasionally like to throw something over the fence, etc. So you've got to bear all of this in mind because dogs and cats, they like to eat just like we do. And for a lot of them, they will keep eating. And we know that, for instance, Labradors, to give you an idea, here's a really frightening statistic. To give you an idea, Labradors have been shown in experiments that they can eat up to 1/5 of their body weight in one sitting of food.
Oh, okay.
So it just shows you, and hence why they're called, the garbage guts of the dog world, essentially. The number of times in clinic, because I'm still in practice, that you have Labradors coming in and they've got into a bin or whatever, or jumped up onto the kitchen bench and managed to pull something off the bench. Yeah. They're amazing dogs, but
you just get the history for the pet of something hilarious. Ate something, and you look at the breed and go, oh, of course it's a Labrador.
Exactly. So true.
All right. So in summary, can you just give us a brief summary on how to keep your pet at a healthy weight?
All right. Some quick tips. Monitor your pet's weight regularly. Can't say it enough. Get them on the scales regularly. Do the body condition scoring. Feel their ribs, etc. So we've gone through that. Change how you respond to their begging. When they show you those puppy dog eyes, like I said, think of things other than food. Think about, non-food rewards, new toys, extra love, etc. Consider a high-quality, super premium diet that's tailored for weight prevention, such as lightweight care that I talked about before, and always follow the on-pack feeding guides. You need to stimulate their instincts, so you can do that by mixed feeding. Wet food's really good because it's actually calorie reduced, because it's diluted, because it's got a high water content, so that's a really good option. But also consider things like food puzzles. Make your pet work for their food. You want to increase their level of activity, get them out and about. It's a good opportunity for you to get away from Netflix and get out there and enjoy the nice weather while we've got it before winter gets here. Monitor their body condition. And last but not least, make sure you do speak to your vet. You should be going in at least once a year for annual vaccinations, but you should be speaking about the right nutrition with your vet for your pet, particularly if they are prone to being overweight.
Excellent, excellent. Now, do you want to tell us a bit more about lightweight care?
Yeah, definitely. So lightweight care is a complete and balanced diet. So that means it provides all of the essential nutrients in the right amounts, okay? So all Royal Canin diets are complete and balanced, but it's formulated for dogs and cats that are prone to weight gain. So it'll help to prevent them from gaining weight if they're mildly overweight or if they do have a problem potentially of becoming overweight. So the kibble, I'm not sure if you can see it, this is the small dog one, but it's donut shaped. And so that's designed to slow down their rate of eating. And it's amazing how much a difference the kibble shape and texture makes in regards to how quickly that they eat. So these kibbles and also the wet food are designed with a reduced energy and fat content, but the protein level is really high in it. So what the protein level does is, by having high protein, is to maintain muscle mass. So we want to burn fat, but we want to maintain the muscle mass that's there. It's high in omega-3s. So omega-3s are fatty acids, and they're derived from fish oil, but they have an anti-inflammatory effect. The other thing too is that it's got L-carnitine in it. Now, some of you may have been like, I've heard of this before. L-carnitine actually is taken by human bodybuilders to slim down. And what it does is, in the cells of your body, you've got these little components which produce the energy for those cells. And so L-carnitine basically drives the fat in the blood into these cells, such that components of the cell, such that it uses it as a source of energy. So it helps with fat metabolism. In cats, we also have nutrients in there to help support urinary health. And then last but not least, and this is probably the really crucial part of the diet, is it's high in fiber. So fiber is really important for numerous reasons. One, it makes you feel full. Two, it's really important for the bacteria in the gut, the good bacteria. And thirdly, it helps to create, and I know this sounds horrible, but nice stools, so that they're nice and firm, they're not runny, you don't have diarrhea, etc. And I believe, Annika, that you have some fiber there, and we're going to do a little bit of an experiment.
I do. I came prepared.
So Metamucil, basically the main ingredient in it is fiber. So it's psyllium husk. And so you've got some water.
I've got a glass of water here.
Excellent. So I want you to take a big scoop of it and mix it with the water, and we're going to see what happens as we continue to talk a little bit. So give that a good stir. Ooh.
All right.
So we, as humans, don't have enough fiber typically.
Red.
Yeah, nice and red. So you're going to give that a stir. So it was a powder going in, and we're just going to leave it there for a minute or two just to see what fiber does. And there's different types of fiber. So some fibers are really good for making you feel full, so it expands in the stomach and forms a gel. And so essentially that makes them feel full. And that's what satiety means. It's a sense of fullness. And so that's why weight loss diets have really high fiber levels in them, is for that distinct purpose. So we'll continue, and then we'll come back and check in on your little glass and see what's happening with the fiber there.
Excellent. So people who are considering that, okay, my pet might be a little bit overweight, maybe this is something we definitely need to address and consider. Do you have any advice on how to make a transition to this particular food?
Yeah, so irrespective of what diet your pet is going on to, you always need to transition. A lot of people will just swap from their old diet onto their new diet, but that can actually result in gastrointestinal upset. So it can result in bloat, potentially diarrhea, etc. So the way that we can help to avoid that is by doing a transition. And so what we recommend is that over a week, you basically slowly decrease the amount of the old food while increasing the amount of new food until by day 7, they're 100% on their new diet. There is a caveat to this though. If your pet is prone to gastrointestinal upsets, then I would recommend that you extend this period out to 10 to 14 days. It's also quite useful for cats to extend it out a little bit, simply for the fact that cats can be a little bit finicky with their diets and like to turn their nose up. So a gradual introduction is certainly the way to go, and slow and steady. There's no need to rush onto the diet, but we want to make sure that the pet has the best outcome.
Excellent. So definitely need to consider this before you're just about to run out. You need to prepare a little bit.
Exactly. Yep. And you know, if you've got any concerns about, you know, any reaction, if they do get a gastrointestinal upset, then we would recommend you speak to your vet. But majority, it isn't common, but it can occur with any change in food.
Excellent, thank you. All right.
Your fiber. Let's check in.
Ooh, look at this. So my spoon's kind of stuck in.
So I did the same at the same time, and I'm going to do a different trick. I was like, I hope that stays in the glass, but you can see that it actually forms a gel. So if we get it out, you can see here that this is actually turned into a gel now. And so when it's in the stomach, it forms that gel. There you go. And so that helps to stretch the stomach, and the receptors there think that it's full of food, and subsequently give them that sense of fullness.
Yeah. And this is obviously one of the big reasons where people sometimes come to me and say, look, I've measured out the food, I've put it in the bowl, it just looks like such a tiny amount, but this is obviously what happens. So.
Exactly. So, and that's why with really high quality super premium diets, people are shocked when you say, you know, the pet requires X amount, and then you show them how much and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, I feed triple that amount. And it's because the nutrients in it are such high quality and highly digestible, but also, you know, with fiber and things like that, we know how important it is. So we know that they're complete and balanced. So if it says feed X amount, within that amount, they're getting everything that they require for that day.
Great. Excellent. Now, I see that we've gotten a lot of questions from the audience there, so we might look into those now. Now, everyone, just remember that we are giving away $500 worth of Royal Canin pet food today as well. So to enter, please tell us in the comments how your pet would benefit from lightweight care. Now, the first question here is, my cat is really picky but never used to be. Any tips? He's very fussy, but I don't know what to do. Please help. So we tend to see this commonly with cats if there's a sudden change, if they have any dental issues. So certainly if your cat didn't used to behave this way, but there's a sudden change, then the best idea would be to go get a health check at your vet, you know, so that they can have a look, make sure they don't find any underlying disease, have a look at the teeth, you know, so that's where I would start, certainly. All right. Choose next question here. This is for you, Dr. Ben. Any tips on helping my kitty cat get more active like he was when he was 2 years ago? All he does is sleep, and I need my active kitty back.
Yeah, this is a really good question, because cats do like to spend majority of their day sleeping. So the first question I would ask is, again, could your cat have any medical issues? So, you know, do they have arthritis, for instance? Are they an older cat, etc.? So if they fall into that category, then you really should be going and getting a health check with your vet. But if they're otherwise a healthy, younger cat, then there's a few things you can consider. So first of all, like I said, consider the way that you feed your cat. So don't just put it in a bowl. get a cat food tower or something like that, where they actually have to work for their food. You can also get little toys that you can hide kibble in, for instance, and then hide those toys around the house. So then that way they actually actively have to seek them out. Find a toy that works really well for your cat, and maybe a feather on a string that you can get them active and showing their normal predatory behaviors, because they are predators, so they do like to chase things. They're just some of the simple things that you can do around the house to get them up and about. But some cats, you know, they are sedentary. They do like to lay there, and you should never force your cat to do exercise. They should be doing it on their own terms, but certainly there's some of the ways that you can actively get them up and moving.
Yeah, thank you. Certainly a bit trickier than dogs, I find.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
Right. Next question for you as well, Dr. Ben. Is lightweight care a prescription food, or where can people find it?
The answer to that is no. We call it a therapeutic diet. And so this is not a therapeutic diet. So therapeutic diets are found in veterinary clinics, and they're basically prescribed for that pet, because they've got a medical issue. So like I said before, if a pet was really obese, then there's a diet that we have called Satiety, which may be recommended to your pet. This diet essentially is found in pet stores, and essentially what it's done, it's not designed to treat obesity or pets that are overweight. It's designed to prevent them from gaining weight or becoming overweight. So if they're a little bit overweight, then the diet will be a benefit, but it's basically used as a preventative diet, and it can be found at Pet Barn, for instance.
One. All right, next question is for me. Are foods like carrot okay to give as a treat, and how much is okay? Certainly, if you are concerned that your pet is a little bit overweight and you want to include some treats, then that is something like carrot, zucchini. They are the sort of really, really low calorie, you know, high water content kind of treats that you certainly can include if your dog thinks that, you know, considers them a treat. So certainly, yes, you can do that.
There's also a Duke treats, which are produced by Royal Canin, and they're available, and they've basically got more or less no calories in them, and they're fantastic for training in particular. So if you do want to give a treat but not feel guilty about the number of calories in the treat, then yeah, a Duke would be the way to go.
I've used them before myself.
Yeah,
they're handy, tiny little packets. They're really handy.
They're the ones.
All right, Dr. Ben. Any tips on how to keep your pet fit during winter? I have a very energetic border collie, and it's hard to take them out when it rains.
Yeah, so obviously you should still be getting them out and about. Like, it's key, particularly if they're border collies. They're designed to be out there running around, doing their things. So I know we don't like the rain, etc., but you really should be getting out there and exercising them, or trying to find a gap in the day when you can quickly get out there. So definitely, nothing should replace them having, you know, their normal level of activity. But there's other things that you can do. For instance, like toys, like Kong toys, etc., that they have to work to get the kibble out of. For instance, they're really good. Your dog will spend hours pushing it around, trying to get the kibble to come out of it, except if you're my Kelpie Cross, who actually worked out that if he holds it with his two paws at the front and twists it a certain way, he can actually undo it. I've never seen any other dog do it, but yeah, trust him to do it. He's got half Labrador in him, so of course he was going to. Other options include swimming. So again, you know, you may not like being out there in the rain, but swimming burns a lot of calories. And it's a great opportunity to get your pet out there, or your border collie in this case, and give them a good workout. So, like I said, you should still be getting out there, rain, hail, or shine.
Excellent. All right, next question, Dr. Ben. My 10-year-old ragdoll cat lost weight from satiety food, but after a while she didn't maintain it and seems hungry all the time, even with the satiety food. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, so in this case, again, you should be considering speaking to your vet, because it's satiety. So satiety is a prescription or a therapeutic diet. So you should be speaking to your vet in regards to the amount that's being fed and the current body condition. So they may have got to their ideal weight, they may have gone a little bit below their ideal weight, or they still may need to lose their weight. Satiety has actually been shown to basically reduce begging behaviour by about 83%. So there is always going to be some cats that fit into that category where they still may beg and seem hungry. And in those cases, there may be some other options that we can consider in regards to that. But I don't think you're doing anything wrong. In this case, you should really be seeking the advice of your vet and making sure that the amount being fed is the correct amount.
Excellent. So next we have a really, really important question. Someone is about to get a Dalmatian puppy. Do we have any recommendations for treats that are low in purine? Well, that's really good that they've already checked it out. Know that, this may come with a particular problem.
Definitely. It's unfortunately Dalmatians have a genetic predisposition to urate uroliths, unfortunately. And so what we typically aim to do in these patients is keep them on a vegetable-based protein diet in particular. So hypoallergenic, this is, again, you should be seeking veterinary advice, but the diet that we recommend in Australia is hypoallergenic, which is also complete and balanced for puppies. So when it comes to treats, it is very difficult. Overseas, there are treats that are low in purines, but here it's very difficult to find treats. What I would actually recommend is that the diet that you're feeding is that you actually take out a portion of their daily ration and use that as a treat. So that way during the day, you can just give them a few kibbles here and there, and that essentially acts as a treat. But you do have to be careful because, majority of treats that are out there are meat-based protein treats, and subsequently they do have high levels of purine in them. So,
really good tips. That's excellent. All right, and we'll just take one final question. I need an overweight food, but also one that is for a sensitive stomach. What Royal Canin food would you recommend?
Okay, so sensitive stomachs, lots of causes for them. I could talk till I'm blue in the face about what can cause a sensitive stomach. So the key question you need to ask yourself is, have you identified what is causing the sensitive stomach? Because that'll help us to provide you with a dietary recommendation. So again, I would be seeking veterinary advice to find out what's causing it, and then what options are available, because we do have quite a number of diets which are available for sensitive stomachs, both therapeutic diets from vet clinics, but also a few diets which are available from retail stores such as Pet Barn. But it depends on the severity, depends on the cause, etc. So it is a little bit difficult to say this is the diet you should be feeding. But you can always call the Royal Canin consumer care line. The details are on the website, and we can put you in touch with one of our consumer care associates who can try and provide some advice in regards to the best diet, as well as seeking advice from your vet.
Great, excellent. Now, thank you everyone so much for all of your questions. Now, remember to tag Pet Barn to the change account, so we can also follow you on your 12-week journeys at home. Thank you again, Ben and Missy, for joining us today.
Thanks for having us. So Missy was just enjoying her sleep. She just looked at me as if, why have you woken me up?
What happened?
It's a hard life. It's coming up dinner time soon, so I'm sure she'll be happy.
Such a hard life.
Did I say dinner? Hey, did I say dinner? Sorry. Got a little bit distracted. How can you not be distracted with this space?
And good luck everyone that entered to our competition today. And we will see you again next week, same time, Wednesday, for our final Instagram Live.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye.